Now, I don't know about everybody else, but it has been a few weeks since we've been live at this time slot. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to RCI TV, here for a little prequel race for our Night Owl Season 2, starting next week. Currently on track in France, Paul Ricard. May not be a very popular pick across the ACC verse, but today this is what the guys have voted for. This is where we're racing at today, and this will be a little preamble to the Night Owl starting next week. My name is Mike Jones, of course, on the cameras. Who else would bring you a Night Owl race other than Mr. Nick Setnick, and a little guest appearance in today. In our commentary booth, you usually see him behind the cameras. However, he will be bringing the commentary today. Mr. Stewie in the box with me. How you doing today, Stewie?
Hey, I'm great, and I'm actually excited for this race because I've never seen a race on this track before, so it's going to be interesting.
Interesting, to say the least. Sebastian Brunier, who's in the race today, of course, he races in the Night Owl, was really hyping up this track, that even though it's not one of those tracks that's fantastic necessarily to race all the time, or to drive rather, it is a really good racetrack. It does bring a lot of good battles to it. And then you've got the straight as well, the big, long Mistral straight that will just mean that, you want to run as low of downforce as possible. I mean, you've got the whole Mistral straight. You've also got the start-finish straight as well. Very long straights through this track. You want to run as least downforce as possible, which means that you're going to lose a lot of time in the twisty bits. These guys right here are now going through the double rights and the Garbon curves, and this is where that setup, you got to find that balance of setup here at Paul Ricard, but should be an interesting one. I as well, Stewie, have not actually broadcasted a race at Paul Ricard, so this will also be a first for me. And oh, here we go, Fabian Schmedberger in the bright pink GTR. Why am I not surprised? I love you, Fabian.
I mean, it's more of a purple, really, but it kind of matches the curb color, so.
I don't know if he's going for blending.
Maybe. I don't know. Is that a livery he runs usually in other races, or is that the first time you see him with that?
Oh no, Fabian, this is his traditional livery. He runs the purple and pink, same as I do a lot. I run a deeper purple, so this is a lot pinker than purple than I would normally run. But this is his favorite car. You should see him in the Bathurst 3-hour we did months back in his bright pink Lambo. It was glorious.
I mean, my Porsche is pink, sky blue, so
you're going almost full triple R boys with that one. The triple R guys with their pink, blue, and black Miami Vice look that they usually got going on. Now, if I could get Nick actually to switch over, let's go over to Conway there in P2 there for a second, Nick. They're actually looking at their liveries. This is him in the pits here. But there you go, Stewie, pink and blue.
yeah, kind of. I think I have a bit of a darker blue, but a brighter pink.
Mm.
But yeah,
Well, I know that
it's similar.
I know that these guys have been looking forward to this race for a very long time. They've been super excited to get into the Night Owl Championship and been working on their setups, been working on their liveries. I know Conway was super excited to throw out his livery today, as we're actually going to be pushing into qualifying here in just a second. 10 minutes of qualifying this evening at Paul Ricard. Not a whole lot of time to get out there and put down a lap, but it's going to give you at least a little bit of time as long as you can get some space. And with, let's see, how many cars have we end up on the grid? 40 cars on the grid? You're going to have to work to find, you won't have to work too much to find some space here at Paul Ricard, being that it's such a big track. But it's going to be an interesting one. A lot of these guys not quite experienced with the track, so really curious to see how we're looking once we start qualifying here.
Did you just say that they're looking forward to this? Did the Night Owl Cup just end like a week ago or 2 weeks?
Yeah, but that doesn't matter to them. They're ready to go. Right. These guys, I every other day, what I'm seeing, or not even every other day, every other hour, with these guys, all I'm seeing is Conway and Octane and them just, I can't wait for Night Owl. I can't wait for Night Owl. And don't take me wrong, that makes me excited because obviously I created the Night Owl specifically to make sure that I could get in and do some racing at a more U.S. time zone. It's great to see these guys out here excited for this. They were even out, on the British end of things. Most of them anyway. Fabian's obviously German, so he's starting this race at midnight his time, which is pretty late for him. But I mean, hey, it's Saturday night. What else are you gonna do?
Yeah, I was about to say. I mean, it's not that late on a Saturday. It's not like we have other things to do at the moment.
Exactly. And here's Mikhail Sundstrom, one of the other Triple R guys. Triple R powered by RCI, bringing up here his BMW for the Night Owl. A lot of these guys, of course, running their Night Owl cars for this as a little preamble test going on. And it's going to be interesting because obviously Mikhail Sundstrom paired up with Ryan Gill for this championship. Ryan could not make the race today, but they're taking the BMW. And I think that that's a very interesting choice, as we hardly see BMWs around here.
Yeah, I think in all the races there's always like one or two. But isn't Ryan like a BMW fan?
He's not. He's not. He's a Lambo. He's a Lambo fan.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know why I had the connection with Ryan and a BMW. Maybe it was Mikael. I don't know.
that's Vicky Thompson, who you actually probably haven't met yet. She was one of the OG staff members a long time ago. She's a huge BMW fan, and loves the car. And I think now that it's gotten a little bit of buff inside ACC as well, I would not be surprised to see Vicky go out and run that car every once in a while. She's actually currently racing with Jardier, Chris Huque, and Samir Ibrahimi in the 24 Hours of Spa that's ongoing inside ACC. Right now, actually, she is. I don't think she's in the car right now, but she's racing right now. So, but they're running the Audi, not the BMW.
Right, but the BMW should be quite strong on this track, I would assume, because of all the straights. I mean, I don't know, because I haven't actually seen a race on this track, but I would assume that the BMW is not bad on this one.
I would assume so as well. I mean, it's one of those cars that gets out of the corner really well, and so if you can launch that thing out of a corner, coming down the Mistral Straight, for example, if you get a good launch, that slipstream is really going to make a difference. So I would not be surprised to see that going on. as we get into the race here. Of course, still watching qualifying. No laps set yet, but these guys are making their way around the track slowly but surely, and we're going to see what we can place down here for qualifying here in a moment.
And I'm actually a bit surprised that we only see one Porsche. I mean, I'm not sure about the ones in the below place 23, but so far we only see one. I mean, yeah, it got, I mean, nerfed a bit, I guess, in one of the previous patches, but still, there were usually way more around than just one. But do you see anyone that usually ran one? I don't think so. I mean, except Gillies, of course.
Yeah, Gillies definitely ran it in the Night Owl Championship. That's his car. I'm not upset to see less Porsches on the grid. I mean, I'm not a huge Porsche fan to begin with. People usually know that, but
Ooh.
I know. But either way, I'm excited to see some other cars out on the track because I mean, to be honest, it was getting tiring seeing nothing but Porsches and Audis on the track at any given time, and I'm excited to see some of these other cars out here. I mean, this is just kind of an arrive and drive event tonight. It's not a super serious race or anything like that. So, overall, people probably aren't taking it quite as seriously as they would a championship or something. But at the same time, it's nice to see a huge selection of cars out here. Gilly's obviously popping off with that 54.9, way ahead of pretty much anybody else at the moment. But like just the laps that are placing down right now, we got Porsche, Lambo, BMW, Lexus, Ferrari, Mercedes, and McLaren. They're all in the top 10. Granted, they're the only 10 that have put times down right now, but I'm glad to see that. Here's a Lexus, for example. Gerard DeBar for the Tech One Racing team. This is it's nice to see a selection of cars, and I think that's going to add a lot to it because I'm really curious to see how the setups will differ between the cars. Obviously, some cars such as the BMW and the Lambo, you can really get quick coming out of the corner. Cars like the McLaren here don't necessarily do as well launching out of a corner. So how will Sebastian Brunier held up against, say Sundstrom, if they both come onto the Mistral Straight side by side? Is Sundstrom just going to get that launch with the BMW and just rocket himself out across Brunier, and Brunier is going to have to try and use the slipstream? That's the question here. I mean, this is a very odd track. You don't see this type of track in GT3 racing so much. I think that the most similar one's probably Silverstone, but even then, it's very different, right?
Yeah, I mean, Silverstone has at least some corners. This track is mostly straight by the looks of it. But yeah, I mean, if Sundstrom and Brunier are actually fighting, I mean, we could see place changes every single lap on the straight because, I mean, both BMW and McLaren are strong on the straight, so maybe they'll just always use each other's slipstream and then fight it out in the last few corners. But yeah, as you mentioned, I think we actually have all the different makes here, or is there anyone that's missing? Because
yeah, I mean, let's look over the grid. So I'm seeing a Honda. Obviously, Frochelle just took over P1 by a large margin there in the Honda. We've got the Lexus. There's a V8 Aston. Multiple V8 Astons, of course. AMG. I think that we have every make of car represented here. I think you're right, Stewie, and that's kind of nice to see. That doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, that's pretty rare. I mean, I would say that's the first race where I see every single car.
Probably because a lot of the times you don't see a BMW, you don't see a Honda, and McLarens aren't super popular either. Sebastian Brunier, he's been talking about, recently to me, about how he's been wanting to kind of bring out the McLaren and learn it because he really likes it. I feel the same. I'm a huge fan of the McLaren. I mean, like if I had just money to drop on a car, I would handedly get a 650S, if at all possible. But I'm not a huge fan of it inside the game. Hey, that's a V12 Aston as well, right behind Mark here. So we've even got the V12s represented, which I'm really curious to see how that car does at this track because I think it has a lot of potential. The only thing we don't have is the Jag or the Bentley. We're missing a Bentley.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
There we go. Ooh, Guiglia's in the V12. Interesting. Okay, I see some potential there. Guiglia's he's a pretty good driver for the Nearly on Pace team. That's Mikhail Sundstrom's team, general team for his endurance races. So I'm expecting good things out of him, and I like the fact that he's in here in here in the V12, and then of course Fabian Schmidberger bringing up the lone Nissan in the grid as well. That's the car he's going to be running in the Night Owl Championship with, which is going to be interesting considering the very first race in Night Owl is at Laguna.
And Fröschel just put, I think, 0.3 of a second quicker than his last lap.
0.15, in fact. It looks like he put a 54.3
okay.
down. Yeah, he just put a 54.3 down, so he's 6/10 ahead of Cardin Liu, who's back in second. Gillies in third now. Not a whole lot of cars that are just kind of up on their laps. There's a couple of them. Ollie Veneer just placed a lap down that was a few tenths quicker. Did not make up a position, however. Gillies, here he is here. He's about, what is he, partway into his lap here, not too far. He's at the end of sector 1, but he's having to slow down. Maybe just try and... he doesn't even have enough time to get back to the pits. Never mind. So Gillies is actually going to... Looks like he's going to forfeit his lap. Oh, no. He was in the last corner. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the Mistral straight compared to the start finish straight. My apologies. Gillies is starting his final lap here. So he's going to go for one more run. Mark DeRuiter back in P6. Al Robles back in P7. Roughly around a tenth or two up, possibly. At a tenth or two up at that point, we'll bring them up just a little bit. Here we are on board with Robles, the 77 Lamborghini for the Barwell Motorsports. He's going to be coming around the start-finish straight now. He is going to pick up a couple tenths as he comes across the line, brings him up into P4. Robles running that 55.263, puts him on the secondary, or the provisional, rather, second row of this race. And I think that the big one here is going to be Gillies. He is even on his time, 45 seconds into his lap. We're going to see if he's able to pick up a couple more tenths. I think, knowing Gillies, he should be able to pick up a little time here. He's coming down the Mistral Straight right now. He is not picking up any time. That means that he is dead even on his lap, just past the 1 minute mark into the lap. There's the tick time over for qualifying. We are on wait time. Anybody who crosses the line will be finished. A lot of people already back into the pits. But Gillies coming off the Mistral Straight here, still in a dead heat with his best lap. Looking down the grid just to look at other things, we got Patrick Delau, who was, I believe, our winner from Night Owl season 1 in the AM class. Currently back in P14. He, right here for the 911 Simbro Motorsport, he's a French driver as well, if I'm not mistaken. So he's on home turf. He might be picking up a few tenths as he wraps around the final stretch of the lap here. Here he's going to come across the line. Patrick Delau does pick up a few tenths, only good enough for one position, however, as there's a reasonable jump between P12, P13. But again, Delau was our AM class winner. Quick guy, not quite quick enough to be up in the pro class, however. There's Gillies across the line. He just posted a 55.263, which was ever so slightly quicker, but not enough to bring him back on that front row. And we don't have too many more cars out on the track. Here's Mark DeRuiter. He is a few tenths up. He actually just picked up some more tenths. Really good corner off the Mistral Straight and then messed it up coming through the double right. And that's going to cause him to have to teleport back over to the pit lane. And we should, if I'm not mistaken, looks like one car out on track. Jason Clark in the number 6 back in 23rd. He's crossed the line now. So that should wrap him up as well. I think that's it. Zach Rogers in the... Yep, there it goes. Yeah, I was going to say him and Zach Rogers. So that means we are going to go back out onto the grid, and Gillies is going to place himself in the second row. A blazing lap by Froschel there, Stewie.
Yeah, I mean, the closest one was, what, 0.6 seconds behind, and then all the others were, I think, the second, third, fourth, and fifth were pretty close. But yeah, Fröschel with a monster lap there, I guess, just in front of everybody. And
in the Honda, I'm excited for that.
In the Honda, yeah, it's the only one we have, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think I got to correct you on Delau there. Wasn't that a Dutch flag?
It very well could have been. Let me see. Delau, what is the Dutch flag?
Especially because
that's the Netherlands flag.
Especially because the name sounds pretty Dutch.
Yeah, that's true. I forget that the Netherlands flag is horizontal and the France flag is vertical, because they're basically the same flag, just a horizontal and vertical. Like the colors are very similar. But you are correct. I was mistaken with that one.
And I really like the livery from that the Lambo who is it? The fourth place, Robles. I mean, it kind of bites the colors of the track, but yeah, it's really, I like it.
Apologies, just typing a message from race control to the drivers, wishing them luck and to make sure that they follow the rules of the road. And we are just going to take a quick look at the grid. If I could get Nick to jump up to P1, we're just going to take a look at our top placing finishers here really quick. So we've got Frochelle in the Angry Bird 86 Honda on the front row. He will have the inside going into the first S turn, and I think that puts him in the beneficial position here. There are some tracks where necessarily being on the inside for T1 doesn't always benefit you. We've talked to me and Jesse a lot, have talked about the Hungaroring, for example. Necessarily being in the inside of T1 isn't always the best thing. So we'll see how Frochelle can do with his blazing qualifying lap, as to saying about 6/10 ahead of Mr. Liu in the 17 Lambo beside him. That Lambo should have a lot of grunt coming off the line compared to the Honda. So if he can get a good launch, I'm assuming he should have an excellent T1. Then we go back to Alistair Gillies, Robles, Sundstrom, Brunier, De Ruyter, Revo, DeBar, and Kumpo will make Kumpu possibly make up your top 10. Back from there, we have Veneer in the Aston, Delau in the Porsche, Romero, Wolf, Yupke, Dolly, Robson, Ted Edwards, and this is a name that I always butcher. I apologize. I've seen your name a few times. Tristan, Tristian, possibly. I always butcher his name.
If he's French, I would say Tristian, but I don't know. I mean,
yeah, I might have to ask him one of these days. I always get his name. Always get his name wrong, and I always feel bad. And then Gil, and I believe we are rounding out this race with near on 40 drivers, which is pretty awesome to see for this little one-off race. So Lebrec and Conway and Octane back in the back of the pack, and of course these are our triple R all-stars back in the back of the race. Of course, Ismail Lebrec dominating the Night Owl Championship for season 1. All three of them going to start all the way in the back of the race and do a last to first challenge. And those of you who tuned in for the final race of Night Owl will actually note that Ismail Lebrec did this at the final race of the Night Owl Championship, started all the way in last place, even took out Harry Conway in the process, making sure that he started in the back as well. And Ismail Lebrec still came back, blasting his way through the field in a 90-minute race to finish in P1 for that race and secure the championship. And that was pretty exciting to watch, as it was a heck of a race by him. I mean, he was just driving like mad, but it was good on him to do that. So an excellent job by him. And of course Conway and Octane there in the back as well.
I mean, I was about to ask you if Lebrec is gonna do the last to first challenge, but I mean, apparently he's done it before, so maybe we'll see it again. Although 1 hour quite short, it's gonna be difficult. Maybe they're gonna work together in the back. You said they were from the same team, right? Lebrec and Conway.
Lebrec, Conway. So we've got Lebrec, Conway, Octane, Sundstrom, Cody Blanton, and Fabian Schmedberger is joining them as well. And I believe there is one other person that is joining them that I do not remember the name of offhand, but there's 6 of them that are all kind of like racing together within the championship and some of the endurance races. So it's going to be interesting to see all of these guys and how they work together or opposed to each other, which I believe is more likely with the Triple R boys. As here they go off on the formation lap. Frochelle in that 86 Honda going to lead them around one time for a little warm up around Paul Ricard here. 1 p.m. sim time here in France today, and it is a pretty toasty day as well over here at the end of the pit lane. I know that me and Stewie had to kick on the air conditioner before we went streaming today, as it was pretty warm. 26 degrees outside, 34 degrees on track, and I'm definitely the type of person who likes it under 20 personally, Stewie.
Yeah, I'm also not really a hot weather person. Although, I mean, the weather in Germany when it's hot, or in France, or in all the the European countries, it's mostly humid as well, which is the worst part about it. But like the heat below the equator is fine. But yeah, I definitely like the cold weather more.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the cold weather. It is I live in California, and so we don't have much cold weather here. It'll get chilly, but not cold, and uh, it's usually actually almost a little too cold in the house here. Because my roommate, we have currently we live in a two story place, and so all the heat goes up, and so we end up having to keep the AC on even lower than normal. 70 degrees Fahrenheit's usually about what it is, which is I believe in the low 20s. I don't know. I'd have to look it up, that conversion to Celsius.
Yeah,
but
I've got no clue.
yeah, I do know that it's pretty cold basically. So it gets pretty cold here around in the house, but in the comms booth, nice and comfortable. As we're watching these guys come down the Mistral Strait for their formation lap, should be going green here in about, I believe, 2 minutes or so. And it's going to be an interesting one. 40 cars on the track. And this is a nice, big, wide, open track. I mean, we can see that this is the straight right here, main straight of the track. This is the longest section. I believe this equates to almost half the track length in total, all the way through to the start of the Mistral Strait until you start the double right, give or take. It's like 40% of the track, if I'm not mistaken. And you can see how wide it is. I mean, you could easily fit 4 or 5 cars side by side on that straight. And I would not be surprised to see, especially these guys in the front, or the Conway LeBranc Octane train in the back, going side by side on the first lap down the straight. As we just saw one of the Porsches go off. Looked like that was Delau, I think. Nick, what happened to him there? Can we take a look at Delau in P12? Yeah, I think he slid off track a little bit, pulled a Jardier on us while he was warming up his tires.
I mean, it kind of looked intentional, but yeah, that would have been a weird move to do.
Yeah. So maybe he's just following the Jardier school of driving. Not too long ago, as these guys are stacking up 2 by 2, not too long ago in our season 1 of the Porsche Cup, season 2 starting soon, by the way, if you guys are popping into Discord, Jardier on I think the 4th race of the season at Laguna spun on the formation lap in the very last corner at Laguna, came back and won the race on the very last lap. So obviously Delau's been taking tips from Jardier. Usually a good place to find some racing tips. However, Delau, that might not be the one that you want to do. Rounding the last corner here, let's take a look. Here's Delau in P12. What is going to happen with Frochelle and Lou in P1 and 2? However, I'm really curious to see if this Lambo is going to get the burst off the line or not. Approaching that start-finish line. Lights are going to go green, and we are going racing. Frochelle gets an excellent run. Gilly's in the back as well. He's going to go down and try to get to the inside. A little bit off track. They're keeping 2 wheels on the track, pushes Frochelle right up the track, hard on the brakes, and there's an off there. The Mercedes goes into a wall. I don't think that caused any more trouble. He got up off the track, and there's the touch again. There's going to be Lou hitting Gillies up off the track. Little bit of a spin there. He's going to wait and let him back on the track, and these guys are just dangerous driving at the moment. One slow car is not how you want to do this. These guys are waiting to get back on track and at least not causing any more problems. Mikael Sundstrom coming out excellent in this, however, as they're going to enter the straight for the first time. Mikael Sundstrom up to P2, and I believe that is Frochelle that has gotten out in P1 even after all of that, as we're seeing some more chaos in the back here. Card and Lou for Luca Racing, causing some more trouble in the back with the rejoins. There's a couple DTs across the field at the moment from start-finish errors possibly, but a bit of a chaotic first lap, and that's kind of to be expected.
Yeah, wow, what a start. Oh my god, like, I think throughout the whole grid there were just crashes and off tracks and everything just going wild, but Thrasher managed to stay in front and not be affected by all of this, and I mean, he's already got 1 second up to the second place, so he definitely gained from all the chaos. As we're seeing Wolf and who's that? Daly? Yeah, Wolf and Daly. A small touch there.
Oh, that's Brunier.
Oh, right.
That's actually Brunier in that McLaren. Yeah, that's Brunier in the 777 McLaren behind him. The timing screen has not quite updated yet, as BCC likes to do. Does not update until you cross the sector lines.
No, but
But
it was the Mercedes, the
oh,
number
oh yeah,
197.
ahead. Yeah, I apologize. I thought you were talking about
Yeah,
the
yeah.
McLaren behind him. That's actually going to be Brunier going to the pits already. He must have some damage, unfortunately, from the first lap. So Brunier diving into the pits in that McLaren, as we're going to watch Daly and Wolf go side by side. Entity went hard on the brakes. That McLaren absolutely sent it through. Gets the cutback from Wolf a little bit. Now Wolf's going to have the outside, and that is where you want the outside right there. Wolf is going to take that position, and he's going to make himself up into P8 as he just secures that. Audi in the background there wants a piece of it now as well. These guys just shifting back and forth, still racing side by side. However, I think the Ferrari's got the line through the corner that he wants right here. Mercedes goes wide, hits the rumble strips a little bit, and there goes Wolf. He's going to rocket back up. The Mercedes went a little too wide, ended up losing a couple more positions as well. Tristan and Edwards have made it past. That's going to shovel him back to P11 as Wolf sets on down the straight. But here comes the slipstream. Look at this, four cars stacked one by one. These are two Mercedes in the background, and that is what you want to see with these Mercedes coming down the straight. Bump draft a little bit there. David Gill, sorry, not David Gill, that is McConnell bumping Clark a little bit there, trying to make him go just a little bit faster. Side by side, these guys are going to come into the curve of signs here and going to push him off track just a little bit, but that is the racing line through there, and Gill going to shuffle out with at least one Mercedes behind him, two Mercedes behind him. In fact, Gill holding on to it, and this is the type of racing you like to see here. Like this is the type of racing I was told we were going to see here at Paul Ricard.
Yeah, I think Brunier explicitly said it's only fun when there's a lot of cars, and yeah, we definitely have a lot of cars, and we're definitely seeing some interesting racing. So he was right with that. Well. Oh, another spin. Who was that? I think that was Clark. Yeah, okay. Oh. Okay, where's the I think oh, that's the replay. Okay. Never mind.
Yeah, apologies.
Oh, yeah,
Go ahead. So yeah, I was told I was having some audio issues, so just trying to work on that really quick. I apologize. As technical difficulties in the booth seem to be common this week, but yeah, a little bit of a replay from that incident. Doesn't look like it'll cause too much trouble, but something that has definitely hurt his Narrett jack goes way off track there as well.
Yeah, I think that was just like a slight mistake in braking, but because all the cars were so close together, of course there were a few more involved than just the two guys. As we're watching the name that we're not sure how to pronounce it, I'm just gonna say Tristan. Oh wait, he's from Poland. Okay, I think you might be right with your pronunciation. Anyways, he used the slipstream to get up on Wolf, and he seems to be passing him into the corner after the straight. They're head to head, and he managed to make the pass, and he is. Oh wow, he gained a lot of speed on that straight. Yeah, he's already like 3 or 4 car lengths ahead.
Oh,
what was that?
I don't know, jerked off track there a little bit. Almost looks like his wheel jumped on him. Possibly, I don't think he hit a curb, but either way, he is going to lose a couple positions off of that now. Wolf and Edwards going to get back on by him. Apologies, guys. Hopefully, the audio sounds a little better now. But yeah, that's Tristan in the Mextron Racing 57 Audi, and he's looked like he's having some issues because there was another Mercedes that just kind of dove into him a little bit there. I'm wondering if he's having some issues with his wheel, but hopefully he'll be able to pick that back up.
Yeah, and let me see. Yeah, they're still close together, but it doesn't seem like any one of these can make any move on Wolf so far. They are getting through the first corner. He's getting closer.
Yeah, he looks like he wants to go for the move a little bit there, but is he going to be able to? He is. There he goes. Gonna go to the inside, pushes Wolf off track just a little bit. No actual touch there, but got close enough with that dive that Wolf did have to kind of move out of the way a little bit. Wolf ends up losing additional positions as well, but he is fighting back on Tristan in that Audi, and these guys are going to go back out on the straight again, and it's going to be the battle of who has the least wing attached to their car, as we're going to see these guys deep into the slipstream. Wolf, however, doesn't quite have enough of a slipstream. He almost fell a half a second back from Tristan in that 57, Edwards in that 23 Mercedes, rather. So here goes Tristan out 57 behind him, and just look at him go. I mean, just absolutely blasting out of that slingshot and gets it done through the straight. And that is just what we're probably going to see for the next 53 minutes, is just these guys all back and forth down the straight. Somebody gets deep into the slipstream, and that's all she's going to do, because that slipstream is such a long straight. You get up to almost 200 miles per hour in a GT3 car on this track. It is near enough to 200 miles an hour, and that is just ridiculous speeds in this, especially when you're deep into the slipstream.
Yeah, and the fight we just saw between Wolf and Tristan, that was basically just a replay of the last lap. I mean, he did the exact same move. It worked again, surprisingly. But yeah, as you said, I'm pretty sure we'll see a lot of these overtakes on the long straight due to all the slipstream, like we anticipated before with Labrec and no, wait, it was Sunstream and Guglia? I don't know, but yeah, the BMW and the McLaren. But actually, the McLaren that was in front at the start is not even in the top 20 anymore. So I guess we're gonna have to wait a bit until we see a BMW McLaren fight here.
Yeah, that was Brunier. We did see him dive into the pits at the end of the first lap, I believe it was, or into the second lap, one of the two. Believe he had a little bit of damage from some contact. Decided that it was not worth kind of waiting another 58 minutes on a track where aero actually means so much. I also just noticed that Gillies has dipped out of the race as well. I think due to that initial issue in the first couple corners, he had an incident. But this is Frochelle, who has just checked out, especially without Gillies there behind him to fight. This man is now 4.5 seconds ahead in under 10 minutes. Now, that said, I think that if these guys are smart, Frochelle doesn't have any slipstream at all. If Robles and Sundstrom can hook up on that Lambo and BMW, I don't think that Frochelle is going to be able to distance them at all. If Robles and Sundstrom can hook up, ride, nose to tail all the way down the straights and use the slipstream to their advantage, it's very possible that these guys can catch them. Because that's the thing about this track. That's the thing about it, is if you might have the pace and the overall pace and maybe a little bit higher out by yourself, but since there's so many long straights on this track, if your opponents are using the slipstream, it almost turns into a NASCAR super speedway race where you are just simply slower around the track because you have no slipstream. And it'll just depend on if Robles and Sundstrom can kind of get nose to tail or not, because right now they're 2 seconds apart and that gap is expanding.
Yeah, and I mean, it's been growing since the start. So Sundstrom, yeah, it just updated and we are another 0.4 seconds slower now. So Sundstrom has to kind of speed it up a bit that he can catch Robles there. As we're watching Kumpu, is he catching up? I mean, we are on the straight right now. The Ferrari behind that Lexus from Debar. He seems to be in the slipstream already.
Just slightly. It's not enough that I don't think he's going to catch him, but he's definitely closing the gap. I mean, you can really see it's come down at least a couple tenths, which just shows the power of the slipstream here, right?
Yeah, and yeah, this straight is just so ridiculously long. It's insane. So yeah, maybe actually not surprising that not a lot of people picked the Porsche, but that hasn't stopped most of them on the other tracks.
True. This is one of those tracks where it is actually feasible to not run.
Someone was off the track.
Yeah, I think pretty much Paul Ricard is just off track central. To be fair, outside of the Mr. Straight, when you come out on the curve of signs, it is something where the racing line has you go off a track. So you'll notice that there's a few pegs kind of in the ground, and the track limits are actually on the bumper. As long as you don't get to the pegs, you're fine. And so that corner in particular is actually made to be much like the curve in the Conrad Straight at Bathurst, where you're supposed to go off track there just slightly to the left as you make the curve. It's another one of those tracks where it's supposed to be just off just a little bit. And by the way, I looked up how long the Mistral Straight is. 1.8 kilometers.
That's how long is the track overall? Did you check that as well?
That's an excellent question. Paul Ricard track length. Let's look it up on
5.7.
5.7. Yeah, so 5.7, 1 to 8. What is that? It's about a third, give or take.
Third, yeah.
And
that's not counting the start and finish straight and the straight of the first chicane.
Exactly. We are seeing Tristan here actually dive under the Mercedes of Ted Edwards there as they're coming through Sector 1. Not quite able to get the move done yet. Edwards doing a good job holding that down, and he is going to be out in front as they cross onto the straight. And it's the question here, the Mercedes is generally going to be the powerhouse down the straight. However, the Audi, depending on how much wing that thing is running, he's deep into the slipstream. He's not catching him that much, but here it is, about halfway down the straight. Because this is so long, you can see there it is. He's just sucking up, and it just looks like Ted Edwards stopped in the middle of that straight in that Mercedes, and he is diving through the inside, coming down through curve of signs, and there it is, just the Audi just slipping past. And there you can see right there, you are made to go off track that much. That is the proper track limits. However, Edwards gets just excellent grip coming through that corner, and he manages to grab the inside and finish the straight off strong for him. Back into position, Edwards holds down P8, the two Audis behind him. That is Tristan and Lebrec, in fact, behind him. So that is Ismail Lebrec starting in P40, already up to P10, 14 minutes into this race. And it's just showing the strength that is Ismail Lebrec. And it's just the question of now he's up into the top 10. Now he's fighting with drivers that, you know, are probably pro drivers rather than AM drivers. And is he able to make up as many positions as he has been? He's going to go side by side with Tristan into P1 here. And I think he's going to get that done. I think he has already made it, getting that slipstream from Edwards ahead, pushes himself into P9. And here's where the fight will start. He's got 45 minutes to pick up almost, 30 seconds, 35 seconds or so, if I'm doing my math right. That's quite a bit. And Edwards pulls over for him, I guess.
Just lets him pass, yeah. And he's actually not alone with that catching up, because Fabian and Conway, who also started in the back there, not that far behind.
Yeah, P12,
Fabian is on 12
P13.
and yeah. So I guess all of them just used the chaos in the first lap to just gain, 20, 25 positions?
Yep, that's what it is. I'm excited to see, Smedberger in that Nissan, so far up the grid. This is one of those tracks where I think it will do very well at. And here it is. It looks like we just saw this, about a minute 55 ago. The Audi going on the inside of curve of signs, but will he be able to hold it this time? He gets past Edwards. He gets the grip out of the corner this time. Edwards looking to the inside a little bit. They're not quite able to slide on under there. However, as we just said, I believe that is a Nissan about to join this fight as well. Next lap by. It'll be really interesting to see that Nissan come down the straight, as that thing, as soon as it gets about halfway through its rev counter in 6th gear, just rockets off of the power. And that thing at the end of the Mistral Straight is just so strong. Edwards running really wide there through the last couple corners. He's going to actually get a little bit sideways. That's the 80 car Gill below him now. Gill is not quite able to get the grip out of the corner on the inside line, though. Edwards going to slot back in front of him, and they're going to try and get the slipstream off. Fabian Schmidberger now behind them, slides up to the top of the track, trying to get the outside of Gill. He is going to get the outside, but the question is, will Gill have the grip this corner on the inside? And he will not. Fabian Schmidberger just sliding on past. Gill is struggling coming out of the corner from the inside there. He's going to have to find himself a new line when he's trying to pass these cars, but so far not doing too well for him. But he is in P11 still, not too bad.
Yeah,
Sorry, P12 now.
it kind of looks like It kind of looks like they're just marching through the field. Like they just gained 1, 2, like 3, 4 positions overall, all of them. And yeah, they're close
Hey, can I see the
gaining
onboard?
another one.
I wanna see the onboard of Smidberger as he comes down the Mistral Straight here. He's already on the inside of Edwards.
I think he's already passed him.
Yeah, he's already passed, and we switched that too late already. He is gone. Look at that. That is past a Mercedes. he just trounced a Mercedes down the Mistral Straight with just no contest. I mean, just absolutely slots past him, gets back up on the top side of the track and has slid past. That is ridiculous. That Nissan is so strong down that straight.
Yeah, and yeah, I feel sorry for everyone getting past on that straight because I don't know, it just feels like you just can't do anything. It's just a long straight, you're driving your thing, and then someone comes from behind just waving by you, and he's gone. And you can't do anything about it.
Yep, and there's Conway. He's already looking at Edwards again. Edwards has slotted back to 11th position. Edwards wanting to make that 12th position for him. I do love the livery on Edwards' car, though, by the way. I really like that. Maybe it's just because, it's purple. And it's my kind of purple. But Conway not quite able to get that pass done at the end of the start-finish straight. And we got somebody in chat, Vanna Blue. Totally agree with you there, sir. Top 10 here are 9 different brands in the race here, and that's quite awesome to see. I mean, we're seeing these guys out here with a bunch of different cars out here, just throwing it down, and no like top 5 Mercedes or anything like that. It's 9 different cars, only 2 Audis in the top 10. And realistically, if Tristan slows down a little bit there, as he's been struggling a little bit, if we get, say, Edwards up in there, we've got 10 different cars in the top 10, and I like that. That's really awesome.
Yeah, and while we were watching all the fights around P10, 11, 12, I'd just like to note that Fröschel just, he's just gaining time. I mean, not gaining time, but he's expanding his lead. And even Robles on Sundström is also just expanding his lead there. I think the last time we checked it was like 2 seconds, and now it's already 3.4. So yeah, they seem to be flying around here.
Yeah, no, and I'm really excited to see this Honda. I'm really excited to see this Honda be this quick. It's not something that we see that often. Obviously the Honda has a couple good tracks. We're seeing one of the back markers here kind of slide off track a little bit, and I just noticed Ted Edwards gotten himself a drive-through penalty, as well as Jack in that 13 car. That has to be for track limits, as that is not assigned by race control. Me being, I believe, the only admin logged into the server at the moment, and I have not tapped back into my game to apply any penalties. So this is multiple drive-throughs for track limits here. We've already seen a couple earlier. This track is so easy to get drive-through penalties on for track limits, much like Spa, if not worse. And so that's a couple of the guys that are fighting for positions now slid out. Edwards going to fall back probably to about P25 to P30. Really unfortunate for him. Jack in the pits as well, serving his drive-through. And this is going to be Schmidberger here now trying to take another position. I don't know that he's going to get the position through these corners, not in that Nissan, but he is approaching that straight. And I'd like to see this. I'd like to see this battle here, because Tristan's obviously been pretty fast through the straight, but Schmidberger in that Nissan has just shown how quick he is down the Mistral Straight here. Here they are out on the straight. You can see he's sucking up to him already. Got a good run off of the corner. There he is, dipping around the outside. Tristan's going to try to defend the inside, but I'm going to be honest, I think you want the outside in this corner as much as you can. And you can see Fabian loses a little bit of that speed as soon as he gets out of the slipstream. But even at the end of the straight here, that Audi is doing that's pretty good for an Audi. This Nissan is obviously really strong in a straight line, and he was able to hold that position all the way down there to the end of the straight against him. And that really shows the versatility of the Audi as well. You can really make that setup be really quick down the straight. And obviously that's how him and the Breck have it set up.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have Rouge on the track, I'm pretty sure the Audi can just be pretty quick on the straights if you don't have to worry about that part. But yeah, I mean, at the start it didn't even look like a fight because Fabian was just sucking up and it looked like he just got past him, but yeah, somehow he lost a lot of speed, as you said. Yeah. Sorry,
You
what?
can see
What did you say?
Pittsburgher, he's got a little damage on his left side as well.
Oh yeah, right.
When the camera kind of pats around the left side of his car, you can see he's got just a little bit of aero damage, from that lap 1 incident. I did see him get tagged slightly, but you can see there's just a little bit, unless it's the paint job, but I don't think it is. We'll have to catch the camera when he's on the other side of the track.
No, the left side definitely looks different than the right one, which I believe is not possible with the livery.
Yeah, right. Here it is right here. Yeah, you can see it's definitely pretty scratched up. Yeah. But we're going to see it again here. Let's watch the onboard from the Nissan here as we get on to the Mistral Straight. We're going to see him just kind of suck up to the back of this Audi. The question is, does he get enough run out of the straight to do it again? Is he able to get enough slipstream to slingshot? He's just not quite catch him as fast as he was those other cars. He's going to try and dip out. Here he is to the outside. We lost sight of the Audi. But the question is, based on the noises of the car, he is not quite past him yet, not in the mirror. And there it is again. That Audi, the same thing as last lap, able to just hold that down to the end of the track. And there's Conway off there in the distance as well. That Ferrari, because of the lack of slipstream that he has right now, is not quite able to catch these guys. And it's an interesting one because, usually with tracks, we see the fact that they don't have as long a straights as this. Conway could catch them through the twisty bits while they're fighting. Not a lot of twisty bits here to do that at. When we're talking about half the track being a straight.
And they're not even really fighting in the corners. They're just like, driving behind each other, and then on the straight, Fabian is trying to get past, and then he just waits another lap and tries again. Because, I think I haven't seen him do any move in any of the corners. As we're watching Kumpu and Debar. While Kumpu is, he's closing up, and we're again coming up on the straight, so we're gonna see if the Ferrari can beat the Lexus, which is also quite a quick car on the straights. And he is already in the slipstream, so can't quite make out if he's catching up, but
a little bit. Like yeah, he's catching a little bit. I think Debar is catching just the tail end of the slipstream from the Lambo, though, so it's not going to happen this lap. I think Kumpu's going to have to get a good run out of the corner to be able to get up there. But depending on where they're at with the lap traffic in front on the next lap, if the Lexus can get enough slipstream, he's going to definitely probably stay ahead. Now, that said, the Ferrari should do much better through this back end of the track, through Sector 3, Sector 1, where the little bit of twisty bits are. So there we go, past the Lambo who went off track there, and that is a McLaren ahead. As we are seeing another drive-through come out. McConnell in P14 getting a drive-through for track limits as well. So a lot of these guys are suffering with track limits, and we're going to see this guy. He's just coming off the Mistral Straight here, back into the double right, and he's going to have to make a drive-through penalty. He just got it this lap, I believe it was. So he's got at least a couple more laps. He can take that, yeah, he's going to drop back down the order as well. And we're going to continue to watch Kumpu here. He's trailing the Lexus. Lap traffic has been dealt with. Seeing the McLaren there in the background, that was the lap traffic ahead. Looking at the track map, we are not having any more lap traffic likely for this lap. That is the 899 out there a few seconds ahead of them. So no slipstream for the Lexus coming off the Mistral Straight. If the Ferrari can get a good launch off the corner with that slipstream, he might be able to give it a run. See as they approach the straight now, but I think that Lexus has got the run coming off the corner, so it's going to be a rough sell for the Ferrari that's a little damaged in the front.
Yeah, it just looks like the same distance as last lap, so he probably won't make it. Yeah, no, I think that's even further away than last lap. Mm-hmm. He's not even catching up this time, so yeah. Debar definitely got this one in the bag again. Yeah, no.
And
No,
these
no.
guys are just it is just going to be a fight all race long of attrition. You know, who can get
Ooh.
the ooh, man. Who can,
I'm pretty sure we're gonna see a few more drive-throughs.
I think so because we just got another one. In fact, P38 last lap or last driver on the track. In fact, just got a drive through for track limits. That is the 81 Lamborghini of Revo. He's going to get himself. That was the lap traffic that we came past last lap, I believe. No, he's sorry. He's on the other end of the track. But yeah, so again, just another track limit. A lot of these guys, I think, really what it is these guys aren't quite as experienced with Paul Ricard as much of the other tracks, and this is such an easy track to go off for track limits because there's no grass or dirt or anything like that out on the edge of the track. We'll see that Edwards here has cycled out a P24 after his drive-through. Now he does have some places to make. I think that he's definitely faster than the guys ahead of him. I'm looking at his last lap. He ran a 158.5. The few cars ahead of him were just a little bit slower, and you know it's just a question of can he get into the slipstream or not. Is realistically what it comes down to. And here's McConnell. McConnell is going to have to get in for his drive-through next lap. However, he's trying to fight Wolf for the final position before he takes his drive-through. P14. He's going to drop back probably near where Edwards is at. In fact, not a super long pit lane here at Paul Ricard, but long enough. You're going to lose quite a bit of position.
And when you mentioned P38, I believe it was before, I actually had a look at the leaderboard, and what surprises me is that Billy Octane is still on P30, while Labrec and Schmidberger and who was it as well, Conway, made up all the positions at the start, and I don't see him having any contact. So, what happened there? How did the other 2 or 3 guys make up so many places and he's still in the back?
Excellent question. We'll have to go back to the game footage, take a look at it. I'm curious to see maybe he did have a little bit of an incident at some point. He did. He did have an incident on lap 1 as I'm watching this. It wasn't super serious. But definitely had a little bit of an issue at least. So he looked like he went in for a drive. No, he went in for a pit. He got enough damage that he decided to pit on lap 1.
Oh, okay.
So,
well,
yeah,
that explains that one.
yeah, unfortunate for him. But his teammates, of course, Conway and Labrec, doing an excellent job. We're getting a little bit of a replay here with the guys at the end of the Mistral straight that I was talking over. I apologize. Ferrari goes to the outside here. McLaren on the inside. Ferrari tries to get a little bit of a cutback, and the McLaren holds the line, and he just sends him off track. Gets off the wall, but those tires are not gonna be happy. Alex Rogers here for the Adrenaline Racing 119 car, who looks like he got shuffled back to number 121. But that is Rogers going to fall back quite a bit of time there. I'd say that was probably about a solid 5 to 8 second loss, sliding off track, a little bit of punt there. But hopefully his tires will hold steady, not too many flat spots. One of those tracks where you know getting flat spots probably won't matter as much, but long enough as we cross the halfway mark.
Right. We are in a fight between, Wolf and Schmidberger, who actually caught up to him again. And I think we saw that like 10 or 15 minutes ago. So is he gonna make it now? He is definitely in the slipstream. He is catching up right now, but can he actually make it for the corner? We are halfway through the straight. He is going for the overpass. Seems to have a bit more speed, but is it enough? It seems to be enough, and yeah, he actually made the pass. So yeah, another. Sorry, what did you say?
Why is he back that far? Schmidberger must have had an issue for him to fall back that far. I just realized because he was about 10 seconds up the road a little bit ago. He must have had a little bit of an issue.
Wasn't he around P11 or P12 before as well? When we saw
No,
the last
he
time?
went to attrition. Remember, we were watching him fight the Audi of the 57 Audi. He was in
Oh, right,
P10.
yeah.
And so he's dropped back almost 7 seconds since we last saw him. Didn't quite catch as to why that happened as we were watching other battles. But yeah, Fabian Schmidberger has dipped back almost 7 seconds since we last saw him. And that is going to be rough from him. Lebrecht, however, has went the opposite route. Currently made it up to P5. He is pretty far back from P4, though. And he's going to have some hard work to catch up as Froschel as well. 13 seconds ahead of Sundstrom in P2. That Honda just absolutely blitzing away from the field, and that is just awesome to see. One of the Hondas do that.
And something must have happened to the bar. Wasn't Sundstrom third? Sorry, what? Okay.
Drive through for Smedberger. Oh, heartbreaking.
Oh boy.
That said, I mean, maybe everybody will get a DT in this race.
Maybe.
It all evens out at that point, right? There's Octane, by the way. Froschel sliding past Billy Octane there in that pink and blue Ferrari, putting him a lap down. Octane definitely suffering at this track here. And gonna see these guys come across the start finish straight here. This is Octane, Octane Froschel, and one of the Mercedes. Don't quite know which one, as I can't quite see the number plate on it, but I believe it is lap traffic.
Yeah, let me just check. Wait on him. Yeah, he's deep into the traffic. He has like four cars behind him, 4 cars in front of him. But yeah, quite a big gap to the second place. And yeah, as I was saying before, I'm pretty sure that that something had happened to the bar, because we were talking before about Sundstrom not really catching up to the bar, and now he's what, like 7 seconds in front of him. So yeah, maybe the lap traffic got in the way of the bar there, as we're watching Binion, Cole, and oh well, guess we're not watching them fight anymore. Okay, he caught up again, and it seems to be Winion and Cole, and before there is probably a lap car, as he is chasing the Lamborghini in the slipstream, not really catching up, so he can't really go for a move in the first chicane, but the lap traffic will maybe hold up Winion there, and it actually did. Yeah, Cool did get the run through the corner, and yeah. Oh, looked like he pushed Winion off the track there, but I don't think there was any contact. So yeah, clean pass, and we're watching the replay. No contact here.
A little bit of replay. So, don't think there's any too much
okay.
there. The Lambo kind of went wide a little bit, basically.
Yeah, he just missed the braking. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of a braking difference there between the two. Cost the Lambo a little bit of time, but in the end, we don't know if the Lambo broke late or if the Audi broke early, as that is not our prerogative as commentators to really make that call from these camera angles. Really hard to tell to see if see if these guys actually getting off track or not. But here's Mikhail Sundstrom in the 899, holding down P2 really well through the track here. He's 7 seconds ahead of P3 in the Lexus of DeBar, who's only a half second ahead of Kumpu. Kumpu and DeBar still fighting side by side. However, Sundstrom 15 seconds back from the leader of Froschel. And Froschel just dipping off these guys. I mean, he is just sprinting away. Coming out on the Mistral Straight right now. This BMW gonna light up the track surface hotter than it already is, but doesn't quite matter as Froschel is just walking away with the race. And here he is again, Aston rather, off track behind him, just absolutely throwing down fantastic, consistent laps with this Honda today. His last lap, for example, was a 1:56.0. Fastest lap of the race by him, by the way, 54.9. Really quick down the track here. Switching back over to the Rav Rocket Rinaldi Racing 333 Ferrari, chasing down Jay. Is that C. Lou, I believe, in front of him? Sorry, oh no, it was Robles in front of him.
Yeah, Robles
Timing
just
screen hadn't
overtook Rocket.
updated. Yeah,
Yeah.
timing screen hadn't updated yet. That's Robles out ahead of him, and he is losing time to Robles as well. So these guys suffering a little bit of time here through the twisty bits. And now back to DeBar. This is the fight that has been going for quite a while. DeBar and Kumpu. 26 Lexus, number 8 Ferrari. These guys have been fighting back and forth all race long. The Ferrari has not been able to gain enough of an advantage down the straight yet, but it still has 22 minutes to do it. Should give us more or less 11 to 12 laps. And this Lexus, I gotta say, is doing pretty good. I mean, the Lexus is kind of notoriously not super great with tires. We are getting towards the back half of the stint here. Now, 22 minutes left, like I just said. We're gonna start seeing that situation where if the Lexus has been having a little bit of issues with the tires, this is where he's gonna start struggling a little bit, whereas that Ferrari will not have as many issues. However, getting back out of the Mistral straight there, that time, again, the Lexus looked like he just had an excellent run out of the corner, and that is going to put him well ahead of Kumpu once again down this straight. Kumpu's just going to have to be patient there, Stewie. I think he's just going to have to continue being patient. He's got about 10, 11 laps to do it. He's got time. It's just all about finding the opportunity.
Yeah, and maybe, I mean, probably unlikely that these guys will do that, but I mean, they could maybe work together to catch up to the third place. I mean, it's still 8 seconds, but yeah, maybe they can get up to, yeah. No, sorry, wait. Am I? No, I was, yeah, never mind.
No,
yeah,
I mean, you're right. I mean, they can try and catch him. It ain't doing well, though. Yeah, the broadcast tool's a little off.
No, I was just confused with the positions, but yeah. I mean, if they can work together and just use the slipstream on the straights without losing too much time in the corners, of which there are not that many on this track, they might be able to catch up Sunstream there. And we're watching Robson being chased by Clark here, but doesn't seem close enough to actually work out for Clark. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
he's actually losing speed here.
Yeah, I'm impressed. I'm almost wondering that Clark, this Mercedes, must be running a little bit more downforce, perhaps, than he might normally want to. And that's McConnell out behind him. McConnell shuffled out to 21st after his drive-through penalty. Robson in that V8 Aston, generally that doesn't have the straight line speed that some other cars do. So, you know, these now Mercedes, looks like the teammates Mercedes here, if I'm not mistaken, as they're running the same livery. You know, these guys are not doing, or rather, Clark is not doing as well as his teammate McConnell. So that's interesting. Interesting to see. Obviously, they were not sharing setups, even if they are teammates.
There might be just two different drivers. Maybe. But yeah, I mean, I guess they will also not fight. I mean, Connell is just flashing his lights. Maybe he wants to get past to pull his teammate through the track. I guess we'll see in the next few corners if Connell will go for the overtake here.
I think he will. I think Connell's quicker than Clark here. I mean, we can see he's just all over the back of him. And we know that McConnell was up in P14 earlier before his drive-through for track limits. So would not be surprised to want to see him slide on back past, get back up potentially to that top 15. Doesn't have a whole lot of time to do it here, as we're currently watching them run through the S's as they approach the back end of the track. And here we are going to get back out on the Mistral Straight once again, and I'm kind of curious to see if McConnell is able to catch him there with the downforce differences. But here's Patrick Delau doing significantly better than I kind of expected him to. I expected him to be around P10 or so at the most, and he's up in P7 with Conway breathing down his neck in this Porsche. Of course, again, Delau, Season 1 Night Owl AM Class champion, is obviously a really quick driver, but you know, for him to be up in P7 ahead of Harry Conway fighting the good fight here for the top 10 overall position here in this preseason race is pretty significant. And I'm kind of excited to see Delau, what he can do in this new season, starting, of course, next week. And just want to point out, by the way, that according to the timing screen, McConnell did not make it past Clark on the Mistral Straight this lap, unless it hasn't updated. So,
which is weird because he was so close behind him. I mean, he should have passed him if he wanted to, but
oh, he did.
Oh, he did. Yeah.
Timing screen just hasn't updated yet. Never mind. Oh, he's off track again, though. Let's get more off-track warnings.
I mean, he already knows how the drive-through works, so might as well just do another one.
Yeah, and I did just notice, by the way, their team names are the same: Race Ventura, McConnell, and Clark. So it looks like they are indeed teammates. And that is another drive-through that just went out. Two drive-throughs that went out. In fact, that is P12 and P13. Lou and Robles both going to get a drive-through penalty for track limits, as we're seeing McConnell and Clark go side by side through the twisty bits. Clark did have that higher downforce setup, obviously, so he was able to get down on the inside. But Carden, Lou, and Robles gonna have to make that stop, probably slot back around to P20 after it's all said and done as well. But I'd like to take back look at Clark on the time screen. Has made it past McConnell once again, so we're going to see these guys be switching positions all track long. McConnell does have that lower downforce, what we're guessing anyway is lower downforce. We can see him sucking up to the back of Clark there. About halfway down the Mistral Straight, he's just going to rocket past him. There he goes, right up to the back, gives him a little bump draft and says, "Hey, man, why are you so slow?" Doesn't even try and pass him this time around, but just kind of bumps him up a little bit, perhaps just trying to speed up a little bit, try and catch up to Robson, as they're only about 4 seconds back on the track. But yeah, Lou and Robles, unfortunate for them. Robles already lost a position as well before he even got back around the track. Daly took over P13 from him. Oh, maybe not. Maybe that's just a timing screen. Yeah, that was just a timing screen issue. Daly was out ahead, but there they are, both of them coming through the pit lane to serve their drive-through. And Daly's going to go on ahead, cross the start-finish line, and pick himself up 2 positions up into P12.
Yeah, and actually who was it? Debar and Kumpu, they have not managed to catch up with Sundström, so maybe they were in fact fighting a bit. As we're watching them go through the, what is that, the double right-hander? I really should.
Lou sped in the pit lane on the way through.
Oh boy.
Oh man. SG30, that is a stop-and-go penalty for Lou as well, through the drive-through. Sped coming in or out of the pit lane, and that's going to be an extra penalty for him. He's going to have to drop back into the pit lane one more time. Going to drop back quite far, as here's Debar and Kumpu finally going side by side. Kumpu going to get the inside of the track for the final corner. Doesn't quite able to get it done, but he is still on side by side. The radar just picking him up. And there is the launch coming out of that Lexus. We can tell that Lexus is just getting so much more grip coming out of the corners than Kumpu is. The Swedish driver obviously getting very frustrated with the lack of grip that he's been having. But Kumpu for the ART number 8 Ferrari getting all the way up in the back of this Lexus. He's going to look for that opportunity once again. He found it once. He's got 14 and a half minutes to do it again. And these guys have been fighting for about the past 30 to 40 minutes. He's going to want it. He wants that podium position, and we can see one of the backmarker Mercedes up ahead. That might throw a wrench into the plan of Kumpu here, as this Lexus of Debar, if they can get a good launch off of this corner, may get a little bit of slipstream down the Mistral Straight, but I think that they're too far away. There's just not quite enough, so Kumpu is going to be deep into the slipstream. This is closer than we've seen him before. Maybe he's going to get a little bit of a chance here. There's good.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was going to go for the move in the last turn before the start and finish line.
Here he goes.
He was kind of sideways, but then he braked a bit. But it looks like he definitely got it now. But can he keep it on the track? Yeah, he can. So
can we catch a replay of that? I'm curious what happened side by side there, as I think I saw a little bit of a tap. I'd like to see this one more time from the heli cam. Here we go. Kumpa going to the inside. Yeah, just a little bit of a tap there. Looks like he went just a touch wide, touched the Lexus ever so slightly. But that is just, 30 minutes of hard fighting. That's the only touch we've seen these guys had. And so he finally slots on past. And now the question is, does he have the pace to stay ahead? As we're seeing him pick up P3 finally. 13 minutes left in the race.
And I guess we'll answer that question when they come up to the Misfall straight the next time, because yeah, the Lexus on the straight with the slipstream, that could get really spicy for Kumpu there.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah, and we're watching Lebrec, who, wait, how many positions?
35.
35. Impressive.
It is. Lebrec has done really well through this track. I'm not surprised to see him make that. Not surprised, impressed, but not surprised. But he is approaching the back of the Kumpu DeBar fight here. Looking at the last laps, by the way, Ismail Lebrec threw down a 57.0, Kumpu a 57.8, and DeBar a 58.3. So Lebrec pulled up almost a second between the two of them or so, give or take a second by about a tenth or two. And we're going to see this man, I'm sure, do it once again here as Lebrec is just barreling around this track. He's going to be up there probably next lap, especially if he gets a little bit of the slipstream. But Kumpu able to hold off the Mistral Straight due to the slipstream in front of him, getting that 129 Porsche slipstream, getting on past. There is a little bit of a bump off the track there, and that's going to be unfortunate for him, or DeBar rather, knowing that he's got another lap to get. Hopefully, there's not any lap traffic on the Mistral Straight, so that Kumpu doesn't get the slipstream.
Yeah, and I mean, especially the lap cast are gonna help Lebrec here massively to catch up to these guys. I mean, of course, he was a bit faster because they were fighting for the past, 30 minutes, almost the entire race. And yeah, now as they have to deal with all the back markers, he is gonna catch up. And we see the timing board. Yeah, it's updated to 1.3 seconds, so he gained what, like 7/10 since the last time. So in like 1 or 2 laps, I'm pretty sure. Okay, never mind. We're not gonna see a 3-way fight because Lebrec just got a drive-through.
Oh, God, every other lap, man. I feel like we have this again and again. This time, Ismail Lebrec getting the drive-through in the number 10 Audi, and that means that he's going to drop back. If I had to guess, probably about to P10, maybe even P12. That's Fabian as well, back in P13 after his drive-through, of course. And it's just unfortunate for him. I mean, this is Paul Ricard. These guys wanted to race on Paul Ricard this week, and this is Lebrec is just making the push, and unfortunately gets that drive-through as he was catching up, working for that podium position. I mean, we can see he's almost there. Next lap, he'd have been in that slipstream down the Mistral Straight and probably would have been catching him. But Ismail Lebrec going to have to make this drive-through here within the next couple laps. That's going to push him way back as we're seeing DeBar go all over the back of Kumpu, sliding well on and off the track, but not quite able to get the move done. Once again, 9.5 minutes left in this race for them to make this move. And I think this is going to be the fight for the podium. And I'm really curious to see how Conway does as well. He's going to be provisional P6 once Lebrec picks up his drive-through. He's only a little bit behind. He might make it up into P5 as well here in the next 10 minutes, do we?
Yeah, I mean, he's got still a bit to go. He has 1.2 seconds to catch up. But yeah, who knows? The lap traffic might play to his favor. As we're watching DeBar on the start and finish straight, trying to catch up to Kumpu. I think he got a bit closer, but definitely not enough to overtake him in these corners. Yeah, I mean, he was a bit quicker than Kumpu before, but now he doesn't seem to be too close to Kumpu. He still stays behind, but it looks a bit like Kumpu is gaining time. The gap is not really shrinking, and now we have Lebrec even though he has the drive-through, he is joining this fight. Let's just hope he's not costing the bar too much time there by maybe trying to overtake him. And we are watching Lebrec now being in the slipstream of the bar. He is, yeah, he's not actually catching up too quick, but he is gaining a bit. And will he? Okay, he is actually going for the pass, but should he do that with his drive-through? Okay. He is actually going for that, so gonna be interesting to see if he's going for the to surface drive-through now, or if he's just waiting a bit to have some more fun racing and overpasses. But yeah, he definitely cost the bar quite a lot of time there, making that pass in the turn and not letting the bar take the optimal line through these corners. So yeah, the bar might be a bit angry about that, because yeah, his chances for P3 definitely shrank a bit with that. And Lebrec, let's see if he's going for the pit now. And he is actually not. So yeah, the bar lost about 3/10 on Kumpu here, so 7 minutes to go. That's gonna be quite hard for him to take that back.
Yeah, gonna be hard for him to take it back, but Lebrec has got to serve his drive-through pretty quickly here, or maybe he'll just take the time penalty and just stay out on track. I almost think knowing Lebrec, he's gonna probably just take the time penalty and stay out on track just for the heck of it. But if he can get into that slipstream of Lebrec, he may be able to make up the time. However, we're seeing a little bit of a battle here. Back in the middle of the pack, here is the BMW of Gao, the Lambos of Robles and Liu. Oh, that is Robles way off track there. And there's a little bit of a touch there. Gao going to go way off track, punted from Liu in the background. Liu, of course, having that SG30 sliding all the way across track. Over the perk of Paul Ricard here is that you can slide pretty far and still hold off the wall. So we're seeing him do a good hold there, stay up off the track, stay off the wall, a little bit of flat spot on the tire perhaps. But that is unfortunately, I believe, the second car we've seen Liu kind of push off track a little bit today. And so he's gonna. What just happened there? I don't know what just happened there with that back marker, but he just went right. I did not see any touches happen, but perhaps they did. And that's Rochelle, I believe, that is in the middle of this mix. Rochelle, of course, lapping all of these guys pretty far at this point. The 86 Honda going to take the outside and just say, you know what, I'm going to get out of the middle of this. I just saw 2 accidents happen. I do not want to make that 3 accidents happen. Liu and Edwards come into contact. If we can catch a replay of that, I would love to, but there's more contact there as well. Here is the replay. Let's watch these guys come into the corner. Edwards dives down and just makes the absolute bullet of a move. And it looks like Edwards, I don't think Liu was expecting him there at all. I mean, he was almost probably 3/10 back. There was no reason for Liu to expect him there. Committed to the line already. Had to slow down a little bit for the car in front, and that is going to be Edwards up off the circuit. Liu, interestingly, I think he slows down. Maybe he thought that was his fault, letting Edwards back past. I'll disagree with Liu in that case. I think that was Edwards' fault there. Of course, it's hard to see from that angle, but he's got the SG30. I think he's just like, yeah, just go ahead, man. I'm already out of it. Like.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely looked like Edwards just missed his braking point and slided into him a bit. But yeah, that it was definitely an interesting racing line there, straight over all the the blue lines. And we're seeing Connell and Clark. They're still together.
Yeah, Connell back out in front, though, however. So McConnell did get back out in front of Clark at some point. Of course, these guys will have, I believe, 2 laps by as they come across the line here in a moment. And that means that they will have to finish up this fight. They're only, a couple seconds back from P15. I'm sure that's what their overall goal would be. But unfortunately, I don't think that they're going to get it. But here's Clark going onto the inside, coming out of the corner, last corner down the start-finish straight, getting the grip, getting the launch off the corner. He's going to be on the inside. Little bit of a touch there because of the incident ahead of them. It looks like there was a Ferrari kind of getting off track, kind of scared McConnell there. He thought he was going to have to dip to the left and kind of knocked into Clark. Probably not the best move by the back marker in front there to be slamming on the brakes like that, but that is going to cost McConnell the position for the moment. However, we have seen McConnell be much stronger than Clark down the straight, and he still has at least 2 of those to go. As we're seeing Clark get a little sideways there, that is not going to help his launch coming out of the corner. Back onto the Mistral straight here. McConnell deep into the slipstream, only about a 1/10.5 back. And so this is going to be the interesting one, weaving down the straight, trying to stop the slipstream. All that is doing is making Wolf in the back catch them, keep into the slipstream as well. So Wolf catching all the way up to the back of them, just about. McConnell still gets ahead, though, gets on by, slides past. McConnell taking P16 one more time. And where is the 86 car on track, Mr. Setnik? Let's take a look. I think he's just passing the line based on the map. Not quite. So this is going to be the second to last lap. When he crosses the line, this should be his final lap. So that means that these guys will have 2 more laps to go, as they're just slightly ahead of Frochelle. It's actually going to be interesting. This is going to be really close. He's going to come across the line with, I think, let's see here, 50. Yeah, it's going to be close. I think this is going to be the final lap as he comes across. So yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
He's just now coming up. Yeah, he's just now coming up. I thought he was a corner ahead. So yeah, that is going to give these guys 2 more laps to duke this out. Lebrec did take his drive-through, by the way, slotted back to P7, and that's DeBar, still ahead, or still rather behind Kumpu. Frochelle and Sundstrom have checked out P1, P2 respectively. So I think the fight of the last laps here will likely be the battle that we've been following back in P16. Here's Conway, has made it up to P5, not close enough to P4 to make a difference, and I think he's too far ahead of P6 to make a difference. And so that means that Lebrec, however, might have a chance at Romero in P6, only about a second or so within that time frame. So that means that Lebrec could very well catch up to P6. However, the P16, 17, 18, 19 battle is going on pretty deep here. Lap traffic going off track, letting Conway by, and he's going to sit in P5 there. And here is that 4-way battle I was just referring to, 17, 18, 19, and 16, 17, 18, and 19. Robles has joined the fight, dives under Wolf, coming into the curve of signs, and gets that move done as the Wolf just gets sideways. Going to lose that position, drop back to P19. The 2 Mercedes up front still fighting tooth and nail. McConnell currently holding it past, and these guys are in Sector 3, approaching the line for what will be their final lap. Frochelle did not cross the line within time for the game to say it was his final lap because he was so close to the timer. But this should very well be the leader's final lap, as he is in Sector 3 at the moment. And we're going to see Frochelle come across the line here for the win here very soon, behind these guys, sorting themselves back out on the start-finish straight for the last time.
Yeah, and it looks like Robles might go for the 16th position there. He is he on the inside? No. Okay, he didn't quite make it in that turn, but he is definitely close enough to get the run on the straight there. It's only a couple of corners left. He might even go for the move in the double right-hander there before the straight. He is.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get a chance.
But yeah, it looks like that McConnell is a bit braked from the guy in front. I'm really confused by the. Sorry, Clark. Clark is Ben Connell, yeah. He had to brake a bit early, but no, yeah. On the straight, up on his ass, and he is,
Yeah, Clark got nervous.
He got the run on that, yeah.
Yeah, he got a little loose coming out onto the Mistral straight, and that allowed that Lambo, who's of course going to be quicker down the straight. This high downforce setup that Clark's running is just not working down the straight for the most part for him. And Robles slots on up. The question being, can he get the move back done in Sector 3, or can Robles get the move done on McConnell? I think that McConnell's got this held. He's been pretty solid through Sector 3, not losing too much time. It's just a question of, will the mistake be made? We see the Lambo hitting the rumble strips a little bit there. That's going to drop him back off the back of McConnell a little bit. I think that McConnell's going to have P16 locked down at this point. It's the question of, can Clark make the move on Robles? And I do not think so. Robles gets the grip coming out of the Garalbon curve, and he is not going to get anything done here around the final corner. Oh, there it is. McConnell makes a little bit of mistake. We're going to get a drag race to the line here, but it's not going to be much of one. Robles gets the car length on him. McConnell makes the mistake in the final turn, and it's going to cost him the race. P17 for McConnell after an excellent fight by these guys the last few laps. And that is unfortunate for him, but that is how racing goes. You have to be all on top of it the entire race long, including the last corner, first to last. And there it is. McConnell loses that last position. But yeah, unfortunately, we did not catch the final standings because the server ticked over. But a really excellent race, Stewie. I'm glad you joined me for that one. It was an interesting one at Paul Ricard.
Yeah, especially the guys catching up from the back. I really didn't expect those to end up in the top 10. I mean, we got Labrec, who did actually
Conway.
Right, yeah, Conway and Labrec and even Fabian. They're all in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
So the only one who's got left out was
Octane.
Octane, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and then also at the front of the field as well, I believe DeBar did not be able to catch up the back of Kumpu there, so Kumpu was able to hold down that last podium position as well. So guys, we much appreciate you joining us today for Night Owl pre-season race. Of course, Night Owl starts next Saturday. First race at Laguna. Nick Setnock will be bringing you the cameras along with the traditional Night Owl commentators of Jesse Lee and Johnson Lay Sean. Hope you guys will join them for that. And Stewie, been a pleasure streaming with you today. Thank you to Nick Setnick for the cameras. We will see you guys back tomorrow. We have our Behemoth Cup race, Monza, with the Behemoth cars. That will be the BMW, the Nissan GTR, and the Bentley. Make sure to join us for that. I believe Ryan Gill will be bringing you part of that commentary. I do not remember the rest of the commentary team. I apologize, guys. But Behemoth Cup tomorrow, that will be at 2000 hours UTC/London time. Hope you guys join us for that. And exclamation point Discord in the chat. If you guys want to join us for the next race, if you're not in here already, the bot will push out that message. I'll go and hit that right now. And we hope to see you guys around and back tomorrow for the next race. Hope you guys have a great weekend.